What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. As of right now, the engine is dropped off to barn built to get rebuilt. So in the meantime, we can't really install a majority of our new mods, but something we can do is a DIY TGV delete. So that's what I'm going to attempt today. So to start this off, no, I'm not a machinist. No, I've never done this before, and I don't really know what I'm doing. Like, I have an idea, but I don't know. I didn't even know you could do this. I was originally just going to buy a set of TGVs, but once I found out you can do this, I said, screw it, let's try. I'll show you real quick the things you're going to need, and honestly, this is fairly cheap and not that difficult to do. So starting off with your intake manifold, obviously you got to remove it from the car, and to be honest, I would not even consider doing this modification unless you're getting a tune. Something you can do, and I've seen people do, is they just remove the butterfly flap and then reinstall these. I mean, sure, I guess you can do it, but I feel like the effort it takes is not really worth it unless, you're planning on making more power and doing a tune. So besides your manifold, the only thing you really need is 4 bolts, some Loctite. This is the stuff I have. I swear I had actual Loctite, but I can't find it. A tap that is the same thread pitch as your bolts. I'm using a 3/8 by 16, I believe. So that's what I went with. And I also have these Carbide bits. Carbide, I don't know. I'll link it down in the description for the Amazon link if you are interested. And a drill. You need a drill and I believe a 1/8 bit. And that's to drill at your butterfly flap. You're also going to need either like a hacksaw or a reciprocating saw, something to cut out there's like an aluminum flange or like a bridge or a cross section inside the TGVs. I'm going to cut that out. You don't have to, but I'm going to go all the way and take that right out. I don't want it. Get it gone. See ya. Also some coffee, just, to get you through it because it's cold out here and, it never hurts to have a cup of coffee. Okay, I just have the manifold sitting here out of the way. I just had to get myself situated and clean up the work area just to kind of give you guys a better idea of what's going on. So this is the OEM fuel lines and the fuel rails. Took it all out, kind of reassembled it for you guys to see what you're removing. This is actually your evap line that goes to your firewall. So that's the line right there. So that's kind of another reason why I'm thinking about deleting evap, because we're deleting this. So, I can just run a line out. I don't really want it, so if I don't need it, I'd rather not have it. Another thing, that's your OEM fuel injectors, and when you pull out the fuel injectors, this little rubber seal or whatever doesn't always come out. So 1 came out, 3 did not. They just kind of sit in there. Pry it out with a prick tool. Don't damage the walls. Just be gentle, And that is your OEM TGVs. Now, I have a feeling that was cylinder 4, to be honest, because it's just caked in oil, or it's black compared to the other ones. Okay, so you have a few options. Something you can do, if you want, is you can just remove the butterfly flaps and then call it as that, and then just put everything back together and not worry about resealing anything. Another thing that some people do is they remove the butterfly flaps, remove the pins, block up the holes, and then put back the motor and connect it, just so you don't have any codes. You can do that too. Honestly, I feel like if you're going to go in there, do it, go full send. Go ahead and remove these flaps as well. I mean, you're already in there, so might as well. I want everything gone. I want this gone. I want those gone. I want everything gone. I want a straight hole right through it. So, I've never done this before, but it looks like it's a couple 10 mils, a couple Phillips from right there. I've heard right here you can try unscrewing them, but it's really difficult and sometimes it doesn't even work and just strips out. So a lot of people just drill them out. So I'm going to try to unscrew them. If they just strip out, we're just going to drill it out. So let's get to it. go, guys. That's how she's looking now. I'm pretty happy with that. I do have to say so myself. The plugged holes are nice and smooth too. The back end, everything's looking good. Pretty happy about that. I'm psyched. This is, I have many hours into this, I'm not gonna lie. And I'm gonna have to buy some new carbide bits. So you can see they're taking a beating. They're also very tiny. You know, like that's my finger compared to it. You know, that's the hole. Just to give you a size reference, they're very tiny. I got this 80 grit flat wheel that I have had laying around. I'm sure it will do the trick. I'm going to go ahead, go through, just kind of clean everything up. Give it the final sand. And this one will be done, and then we can move on to the next one. Exciting. This has been so long, but it's honestly, it's going to be well worth it. I'm very excited to have this done. I'm proud of it, so let's finish this thing up real quick. And there you go. All cleaned up. I went ahead and just did everything since I was in there. Figured, give it all a cleaning. Might as well. Definitely ain't perfect, but honestly, I think it's okay. There's a little, it's not so great right there, but again, I think it will be okay. If I change my mind, I might just quickly go in there and just kind of scuff it up a bit and then just clean it up. But overall, this one turned out, I thought, fairly well. We did, again, nick right there a little bit. Unfortunate, but I think we'll be okay. And that's it. That is a OEM TGV to, I guess, TGV delete. Again, that's our bolts. All sanded down. You can see that. Looking sick. So this is exciting. I got one done. I got one more left to do. So now we can put that one aside. I'm going to go ahead and get this one worked on. I'm not going to record any of this just because I got tons of footage for this thing. So I will be back as soon as this is done. All right, guys, there we go. It is all done, all cleaned out. It's definitely not perfect inside, but it's really not that bad. I'm sure, it's a lot better than what OEM is, and I don't think I could have done any worse than what OEM was. Went ahead, cleaned all the gaskets off, so we're good to go for that. It's not too bad. That's both of them. Good to go. Now, what did this cost me? This costed me, assuming you have a Dremel, you have a drill, cost me $70. It was like $71. And what you're paying for really are these carbide bits. And I straight up destroyed these, as you could tell. These, I had to buy two sets. I had to buy the long sets and the short sets. Honestly, they're whatever. I'll link them down below, so you know exactly what I used. It was decent. It worked for what I needed. But you can see I just murdered some of these. So another thing I ended up using were like these sanding wheels. So I had 80 grit, which I really used to really clean this thing up. And then I switched over to 120. And 120 held up pretty good, but these 80 grits, man, they just were blowing up. So I know the maximum on these is 30,000. I was doing it at 25,000 and they were still blowing up. So that's not really cool, especially since 80 grit was the one that was really, doing the most damage and getting everything smoothed out. But I ended up having to use a couple 120s just to kind of get in there. And if you are interested, this is pretty much everything we removed from this. So you have like your little motors. I don't really think these are really worth much. If you can sell them on eBay to some poor guy that, his motors died and his butterfly flaps are stuck, then, maybe you could luck out and get some money that way to, maybe make these free. I don't know. Your flaps, just some gaskets, just the covers. This is the main thing that really takes a long time. Again, you don't have to do this to do the TGV delete. You could just remove those and the pins and you can call it a day. I decided to go, all in, get it all out. And those are the bolts we used again. Didn't use the ones that we originally showed. I will provide the exact thread pitch and size of the bolt that I used with the name of it once I figure that out in the description, as well as all the bits and stuff I used. I want to quickly go ahead and throw on the fuel rail with just some of the fittings just to make sure that everything's going to clear. If you really wanted, you can go the extra mile and you can cut off anything you don't need. So like this part right here, like these, I'm pretty sure you don't use. This area, I'm not going to bother. The amount of time I've spent on this already, I really just, I don't want to. I just want to call it a day. So I quickly want to throw on the rails, just make sure everything clears, and we're good to go. And there you go, guys. I didn't go ahead and put the injectors in. I don't want to do it until everything is cleaned and make sure I don't damage anything. But this just shows you it's going to clear. It is a little close here. So if you did want to kind of sand this area down a bit, you can. You don't have to. I might just throw it on like a belt sander and just kind of smooth that out because, yeah, it is really close actually. But again, we should be okay. You know, this side's a lot better. You don't really got to do much there. So if anything, maybe sand down this side a bit just so you know you're A-okay. Other than that, there you go. There's your, I guess, free if you have the tools TGV deletes. I'm going to go ahead and throw everything in the description that I use in the video so you guys know exactly what I use, pricing and all that. Yeah, this is honest. This is how you ball on a budget. So that's kind of something I like about it. I didn't know you could do this, to be honest. When I was going into this, I was prepared to buy TGV deletes and I almost didn't, just because the price, the build kind of has gone over budget. I'm not going to lie. But it is what it is. At least, there's some ways you can, save some money. So I think it's pretty awesome. It's something different, something cool you could talk about, tell people what you did rather than just, buying TGVs. So I rate it. I think it's a cool mod. Apparently you can get like 10 extra horsepower out of this. So I guess you can consider it like a free 10 horsepower mod. And also don't do this unless you're getting a tune. If you're getting a tune, go ahead. If not, just leave it. On that note, gonna call it a video. Take care, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. There's tons of videos coming up. I'm telling you, there's going to be lots. So take it easy.